Faces of Abortion is the only television program of its kind that shows the powerful, real-life stories of women, men, and families who have suffered the devastation of abortion. Faces of Abortion touches hearts and changes lives in over 125 nations. Faces of Abortion is a program that will help you with healing from the heart and hope for the future. You will be given practical steps for healing in your life and help to end the suffering of abortion.
So it just overwhelmed me. And I thought the only way to escape the pain was to take my life.
I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to have my own children.
It brings heartache. It brings hurt.
And I knew they were tearing my baby apart.
I remember the cold feeling of the room.
I remember laying there and I just said to myself that I will never forgive myself for what I'm doing.
I believe that my life was spared that night just so that I could be here right now and say abortion hurts women.
Welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm your host, Cindy Collins, and today we're with Alan Parker, who is president of the Justice Foundation, and Clayton Trotter, who is general counsel of the Justice Foundation. Another great show today.
It's one that I think everyone is going to want to continue to watch. We're going to hear from Betsy and Steve, a couple who have experienced abortion and the after effects of abortion. And Steve's a licensed professional counselor as well, and deals with many women, and with Betsy, his wife, who have had abortions. So we're going to see some of the consequences of abortion in women's lives.
I know, Alan, it's going to be a very important show for our viewers to watch on hearing, again, the after effects, the documented after effects of abortion, and also the effects of abortion on marriage, God's unconditional love. And right now, we want to go ahead to Betsy's story in her own words.
My name is Betsy Coper. When I was in my mid-20s, I became pregnant. The father of the child was already long gone out of my life. I felt so alone. I always thought of myself as pro-life, but when I was faced with this crisis pregnancy, I gave in to the lie of abortion. I don't remember very much about my abortion, the abortion procedure itself, but I do remember about 2 days after my abortion, it really hit me what I had done. I was filled with a desolation and a grief and a despair. I remember crying for hours. It was such a horrible pain. I couldn't undo it, so I thought it was unforgivable. The pain and the grief of losing my child was really very, very tremendous. After crying for what seemed like hours, I knew I had to try and go on with my life. So what I did was I just sucked the pain down. I just pushed it all down. And I tried to go on with my life. But my life wasn't the same. I was isolating myself. I felt such grief and such guilt and shame for years. I thought of my baby every day. I thought of the trauma of that abortion every day. I also lost my relationship with God. I couldn't believe that God could forgive me. And so I walked away from Him. I stopped attending church. I stopped praying. I just didn't believe that He could forgive me. I also isolated myself from others. I condemned myself, and I had a lot of judgment against myself for what I had done. And I knew that everyone else if they had known what I had done, would condemn me the same way I condemned myself. So I didn't tell anybody. I lived with that all alone for a long, long time. I did not want to tell anybody because I didn't want that judgment. The secret became so large. I expended so much energy trying to keep the secret of my abortion. My relationships were strained. I isolated myself. I didn't want relationships, especially not with men. If I dated a man and I felt he was getting too close, I ended the relationship. And if I saw any television shows, if the word abortion came into the conversation, I just couldn't be part of it. I was not pro-choice, I was not pro-life. I just ran away every time the subject of abortion came up. I just couldn't deal with it. When I was dating my husband, I told him about my abortion because he was getting too close and I wanted him to go away. But he surprised me. I told him about my abortion and he didn't condemn me. He kept loving me. He didn't tell me how to fix it. He didn't throw it back in my face. He just loved me. And that was just my little glimmer of hope that maybe there was hope for me. It took me 6 years to go to confession about my abortion, a very long time. The confession helped tremendously, but I still wasn't ready to forgive myself. Many years after that, almost 20 years after my abortion, I found a Rachel's Vineyard retreat. I signed up for it and I went, but I was skeptical. But what a weekend that was. It was amazing. I felt so close to God there. I was able to give him all my pain and he just took it. I laid it at his feet and in its place he gave me healing. He gave me tremendous mercy and he gave me hope. It was such a wonderful weekend that I wanted to help other women heal as well. So I went back to my own town, Fort Worth, Texas, my own diocese, the Diocese of Fort Worth, and we started a post-abortion healing ministry. And we started with Catholic retreats. And now, 7 years later, we have Catholic weekend retreats, interdenominational, and weekly programs, and we also have individual counseling. I'm so grateful. And I'm very, very grateful to what God has done for me. If you're out there and you are hurting because of abortion, I want you to know that there are people out there that can help you. They want to help you. People and groups that want to help you. Find them. They might even be in your town. Find them. Don't live with that pain anymore. Let them reflect Christ for you.
You've just watched Betsy's story and how abortion has affected her life. Also, the effect of abortion on a couple after Betsy got married, of having suppressed that pain of abortion for so many years.
20 years.
Yet her husband, Steve, showed the unconditional love of our Lord Jesus Christ, which brought healing to her life.
It was interesting to me that it was 2 days after her abortion that she began to feel the pain of abortion. And then she began to stuff all that emotion and she just crawled into a prison of isolation. She withdrew from friends and family. She, and many